Oh, it was fucking mayhem. And I'm thinking, I don't want to be part of this. This is not my journey. But I realized that it was part of my journey at the time. And, I kind of stuck with it. And, you know, Michael, for whatever reason, he stood down, as a director because it was the right thing to do at the time. And, and I kind of led the way with the organization really at that
Mm.
pivotal time. I took the reins over and I was very much in the mix of it anyway. I was there every morning taking groups. Do you know what I mean? I was there opening the doors up. I was there kind of, welcoming the new guys into that, and Michael was into the, big time into recovery back then. And, he was very good with individuals, and Michael really helped me so much in my early recovery. And he was someone that I used with and was a very close friend of mine growing up. But that is no longer existent. He doesn't even speak to me today, and for whatever reason, do you know what I mean? But that's the truth behind the story. And I've taken my inventory around all that, and I've looked and I thought I've done nothing wrong in all this. Do you know what I mean? Except
Mm.
carry myself accordingly, unfortunately. And I've been kind of labelled and dogged for every move I kind of
How's it been growing that business?
become a huge success,
Mm.
guys. It become a huge success. I started taking over all the pubs off the Webbers. They owned quite a few pubs in the store. I didn't realize they owned all of them at one time. And because they were getting good rents off me, leasing them off me from my company, they were giving me lots more. So we're getting them done up, getting it filled. And what I created with Restart Recovery was a safe haven for addicts to find recovery in the city of Plymouth. And all this was going on in an area that I'd used in, that I grew up in,
Mm.
that I'd been in rock bottom in. I've been a chronic speed freak for there. I've been nicking plants outside people's houses and selling them to speed dealers. I'll be going into speed dealers' houses in Stonehouse with full chippy clothes on and then fucking coming out in boxer shorts. Do you know what I mean? Because I'd sold all my clothes for speed.
Wow.
And then I'm doing something really vibrant in the community is setting up all these.
Mm.
I took over the Britannia pub. The Britannia was a notorious pub. It was one time. It was a speed. It was caught in late. It was a speed factory. They were making speed in there. They were making amphetamine in there.
Mm.
All the like, the kingpins or whatever. They
Yeah,
were doing their
yeah,
thing in
yeah.
there. And I ended up taking all these rundown pubs after they were done up and kind of getting them renovated and tidy up, getting them furnished and making them real safe spaces, stage one houses for people to come in to detox in. Do you know what I mean? As long as they were scripted, working with the local agency, we could do that. And I created a license agreement. I got loads of help around all this stuff, and and I set up like an empire of recovery in the city of Plymouth within a very short period of time. And it was
Beautiful.
it's a charitable company. It's kind of it's for the benefit of the community to help others. Do you know what I mean? And
Certainly.
specifically though for homeless people,
Oh, okay.
specifically for homeless people who've had substance misuse issues. And it transpired, if I'm honest, I got to a place where in the city of Plymouth I was up to about 150 beds in the city.
Mm.
Can
How
you
many
imagine me
buildings?
sat in I think it was about 25
Yeah,
premises at one time,
yeah.
but then I started taking leaseholds off lots of
Oh,
different
okay.
landlords, really cheap rates. Do you know what I mean? And you charge your housing
Oh,
benefit for what
excellent.
you're delivering, and you get the higher rate housing and all that kind of stuff.
Mm.
And I didn't rely on outside funding. I relied on purely on housing benefit to secure a pay staff
Mm.
and keep the motions in the range running on all it. Do you know what I mean? And pay myself a wage and all
Wow.
that kind of stuff. It worked out beautifully at the time and whatnot. And it's kind of like the blessing of it all is I went in partnership with Plymouth Access to Housing many years ago. Plymouth Access to Housing is called PATH. And they house all the refugees, whatever, homeless. They're predominantly homeless. And,
Mm.
they tied in a contract with me for years and they really transpired. They're really big in the city these days. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
And, I kind of I got to a place, after about 13 years of, it imploding, recover, part of my deal was to introduce everybody to the world of recovery that I've been introduced to.
Mm.
Whatever way you do that, because I used to get some stick for breaking, saying I'm breaking to tears. I'll be setting up meetings in some of my pub lounges. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Getting people in, and I'll be housing people that no one would house. I have
yeah.
had some dynamics that you would not believe. I've had houses petrol bombed. Yeah, with I'm dealing with people with mental health. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've had houses petrol bombed that I haven't been able to do anything about because these people have been vulnerable. They've been my residents, but they've been asked to leave because they're nuts. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
And and they've come back. They've petrol. I've had people booby trap houses. You get a lot of addicts who got resentment with booby trap houses with dirty needles. Do you know what I mean? So when you're getting the rooms clean, you've got to be wearing gloves specific. I've had people, wire up rooms in. Oh, just absolute cat where they've lost it completely. But I've had some beautiful,
Wow.
beautiful experience where I sit in 12-step meetings these days, and I see so many individuals who have been through them projects over the years, leading and maintaining successful lives. Professional people, they don't shout about it that they've been through my
Mm.
projects. Do you know what I mean? They don't talk about that their early stint and how I've kind of got
Mm.
them in. Do you know what I mean? To get them in the embrace, to get the format of recovery
Mm.
going, introducing them to me. Is because my whole philosophy and belief is introduce them to 12-step movements.
Mm.
Whether they get it or not is another thing. But that
It's an option.
God-given
Give
work.
them the
Yeah,
option.
absolutely. And that's
Yeah.
what I've always believed in. And I've been in a beautiful position to be able to do that. And you know, and it's like it's helped me, it's helped so many people in
Well, it
so many
saved your
ways.
life.
Yeah, absolutely,
Saved your life.
absolutely. And restart still, it exists today, but on a much smaller level. When COVID hit, I kind of
Oh.
wound it down a lot, got rid of a lot of the leasehold properties,
Mm.
and I work very closely with a couple of agencies today. Do you know what I mean? Housing homeless people,
Mm.
all that kind of stuff, and just kind of keep it real simple, but still flying high with it, really, Gaz. Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of like it's been a bloody journey, mate, to get where I
I,
am today,
I was
Gaz.
just going to say a journey and a half, but it's more than a journey and a half.
Well,
Wow.
you know,
Share with me and the world what's it like when you see someone go through the struggles like how you did and that change their lives.
that was fantastic.
Mm.
There's nothing more warming to the heart than seeing people you think, do you know what I mean? That you think ain't gonna get it, that have completely transformed it, and you've been
Mm.
part of that process. Do you know what I mean? And that's a
Mm.
really rewarding experience. And if I can go on in my life to help another human being to achieve that, that makes recovery all worth living for. I kind of sponsor individuals in the program these days. I
Yeah.
kind of still do my bit, of course, man. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
And it's like I have lost so many people through drugs. I've lost so many people over the last few years more so, who've decided, that the program is not for them, that they're going to use again. And within a very short period of time, they've
Mm.
perished and they've died.
Just on an estimation, how many people's lives do you feel that you've saved of?
Well, to be fair with you, Gaz, yeah, it's like God works in mysterious ways. I've helped organizations set up through my template and my framework throughout the country. I've got lots of people in recovery who have come to me to ask me how I've done it, how I achieved it. I've given them all my kind of
Blueprint,
information
yeah.
because that's the bigger picture of it all. There's
Mm.
many organizations that are set up these days in Plymouth as a direct result of Restart Recovery. Do you know what I mean? Of my kind of
Mm.
organization. I've gone on to help masses of people in different setups that don't even know through what I've done because I was one of the
Mm.
early starters of all that stuff down in the southwest. There was nothing. There was nothing when I started. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
Now these days there's plenty. Restart is not
Mm.
needed a great deal. This is still needed, but in a different kind of level.
Yeah, and you're
You
the
know,
ideal candidate to be the head runner, aren't you?
yeah,
Because you've gone through
yeah,
it all and
yeah,
more.
yeah, yeah. It's
Wow.
like when my mother died and I was 18 months clean, I put the key tag in her incinerator, and I kind of just asked her to give her, my blessing in recovery. And it feels like the blessing has always remained. I must say, my father, he died. I bloody feel terrible now, I forget. My father died, about 4 years ago, at the beginning of COVID. He kind of died of COVID. And, my father was a bastard growing up. He was evil in lots of ways. My younger brothers and sisters didn't see a lot of that stuff. Yeah.
Mm.
My brother Tommy, little legend Tommy, face of Plymouth. Do you know what I mean? He was like, don't tell the bride, got married on the series, don't tell the right good looking bugger Tommy. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And, I'm proud to be his brother. My other brother, Chrissy, he's just doing a thing now. He's theory around Drake's Island, this island down where we lived. But my father was very much that way inclined. I'll show you a video later of his theory around Drake's Island. It'll blow your mind, honestly.
Okay.
And my other sister Lauren, she like raises kids and whatnot. My other sister Julie lives in Australia. But Tommy, Lauren, weren't really exposed to a lot of the stuff that me
Mm,
and my sister Julie were. Do you know what I mean? I guess my folks made the best of a bad situation.
mm,
But to be fair, it wasn't good enough. It was like it's installed a lot of fear and shit into me that I
mm,
shouldn't have had.
mm,
But and my father died, God bless him. And my mother, when she died, she said to me, son, if there's one thing, because she always stayed with my father, I can never get my head around why. I found out some details later why she did. But I won't go into that. It's not fair. And she as your father grows old in their frailty, no matter what they've done, you find unconditional love. Yeah, this program has taught me to love rather than hate. This program has taught me to care when I wouldn't care. This program has taught me a bit of respect when I've had no respect. Do you know what I mean? And I was able to build a relationship with my father for the latter parts of his years, where I was there for him. Do you know what I mean? Where you see them getting vulnerable in their older ages, you can still
mm.
be there despite all the kind of shit that's gone on in one's life.
Yes.
And that's a direct result of living the program, in my experience. And that's the kind of human traits I want to carry. I have
Mm.
a beautiful daughter today. She's 21 years. I'm a granddad. Became a granddad.
Oh,
Little
nice.
Dolly G at Christmas. I had Alicia's 21. I had a fucking nightmare when she was born, honestly, but all worth it in the end. And I would have missed it for the world, but I nearly missed it. That time in Derriford Hospital in 1995, guys, when I gave up on my life, and the
Yes.
powers that be decided it wasn't.